response to the open call as we got. And it was really difficult to narrow it down to a final 9. I got it down to, it was in increments. I got from 300 down to 100, and then I was stuck at 50 for a really long time. But it just goes to show the kind of versatility of the process and what can be achieved with cyanotypes and anthotypes. Lots of people quite often comment on the fact that, it's quite, there's not a huge amount that can be done with it, but the sheer range of things that I saw through that application kind of completely blew me away. And I hope the final 9 that I selected shows the range that can be achieved. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the evening and seeing what happens.
Thank you so much, Will. And also you have an invitation from the festival to come, if you want to come in the summer to Barcelona. If you have another better trip, like going to Hawaii or Thailand, we can accept a no for answer. If you don't have nothing else to do, just think it twice, okay?
My calendar is so full at the moment with all of the fun things that I've got planned.
Okay, if you want to come, you are going to see some really well-known faces from this exhibition during the festival in Barcelona. It's going to be an amazing summer camp. Okay, it's 6:15 for us in Barcelona. I don't know what time is at your home. Hope you are having fun. Let's start with the presentations of the images. I don't know if Morel is here with us. Can you put yours? Yes, Morel is here. I'm going to share my screen and we can start with your explanation. You have 2 or 3 minutes, and I don't know, whatever you want. It's your time, feel free.
Everybody, can you listen me? Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Perfect. Okay, I want to share with you who I am. I'm from Argentina. I was born in Buenos Aires. I'm 31 years old, and I am an analog photographer since 2009, maybe. So 12 years more or less. This picture you can see now is an analog picture, a double exposure I made to my ex-boyfriend, who was a person really important to me because he shared with me his knowledge about photography, and it was because of him I started to work as a photographer. So we were in a trip in another city here in Argentina called Cordoba, and we were walking around and saw this place selling old cameras for just nothing. 200 pesos is like $1, and I bought that camera. It's Ricoh GX 500, I think. I hope I said okay the name, the model. Maybe I can write down the name and the model of the camera. And there's a funny thing about this camera. It's really easy to do double exposure pictures with it because it has a button very special to stop the film. And the last picture I took with the first film we worked in that camera was about the city in which we were walking and the city we have met together. And then I just developed the film. So this is the last picture of the first film I used in my most beloved camera to a really beloved person who's not here anymore with me. And later, a year, 2 years later, I started to cyanotype because I wanted to print another pictures. You know, I have this serial of pictures, this project in which I stole a camera. I stole his camera and took some pictures, and then he knew his camera was stolen because he developed the film and then he realized. So I called these pictures will try to get dressed the woman, and it's a gender project. And in order to print those, I started to try with cyanotype and other pictures of my own. This is the one I love the most. And this picture, so important to me, was the very first one I tried to sell in a place I'm now here, working at I don't know how to say it, Feria de Artesanos in English. And now my life is, I'm not working as a photographer anymore because of the pandemic situation, but I do sell my work, my photograph work, in the form of cyanotypes in Buenos Aires, Argentina. And I really love this one. Yes.
The photo was done with one shot? I mean, you make the portrait and then the city, or is like a mix when you did the cyanotype?
I first took the portrait, then I pressed the button of this camera to hold the film and shot the city in the corner. I just get around the corner and shoot again, and then develop the film. So this is an analog double exposure that I used for a cyanotype.
Okay. Perfect. I get it. Because I think, and we were debating about this, and we can keep talking about this, that you can also do the double exposure when you are doing the exposition of the cyanotype. You know, you can put like two different images and do it. You know, this is a double exposure in camera, and it can be also double exposure in the moment that you are giving the light to the cyanotype. That was why I was just asking to know the process. I think the image is really beautiful, and I mean it's just a great way to make a connection and a relationship between one project and the other, and also one people and the city, and all these emotional things that you are explaining make it much more interesting. Do you want to say something else about the picture?
I tried to do something like a double exposure, like you said, but as we say here in Argentina, me falta sopa. I don't have the training yet, so I took your advice to try it. Thank you.
Super. Thank you so much, Morel, for being with us. We are so happy of having your work. I'm a huge fan of double exposure, as everyone might know, probably know. And that's why I was happy that you sent us this series. If you want to follow Elefante Fotografía, she has amazing things, and also you can find her in Buenos Aires selling things and doing things. Okay, thank you so much. Next one is Catherine from France. She is in La Campagne, from France, in a small village. If you can tell us how you did this image, Catherine, it would be amazing.
Well, this image is made during summer. It's very important to say it's made during summer, because I was trying to experiment wet cyanotype with photogram, white cyanotype. And I realized that during summer, when it's very hot, I can use my brush as a painter, because it's so hot that the wet I can't keep really the paper wet. It dries very quickly. So I take another, I take cyanotype liquid again, and I use really my brush as a painter. And then I do a photogram, and the size, obviously the size in centimeters, it's I think 70 high and 50 large.
Okay.
And so what is also very interesting for me to do this during summer is that of course I do the painting inside, and then I go outside, and it's going very fast. The sun is very strong, and I wait. I wait and I look, and I know the time when I want it to stop and to wash quickly. Yes. And this is the way I work. Of course, before that, I've prepared things. That mean that I collect a lot of things to my photograms. I walk a lot. You said I live in the countryside. I walk a lot, and I collect dyed things. I mean, ashes,
Yes.
flowers, plants, everything's fragments which are dead, and as like I give them another life
Nice.
through my pictures, and very different, and it's a sort of metamorphosis. But for me, it's meaning life. I mean, it's the way I see life. You know, a continual metamorphosis of things.
Yes. Maybe it's the last life of something that is dying. I was thinking about what exactly the process when you are doing it, because it reminds me a lot to a chemigram. How do you do this? I mean, you were talking about the surface, which surface you are using, and then that you are using the brush.
Yes.
But what you are doing with the things that you have here, can you explain a little bit more in detail the process?
You were talking about chimigram. It's not a chimigram.
Yes, I know that it's not. I mean,
I do some chimigram. I know I do some chimigram. This is a pure. The first idea for me was to experiment wet cyanotype and photograph. This is the first point. And what interested me is that during summer when it's hot, I can use really like painter my brush. This is what so I brush the cyanotype, and I take and it's dry quickly, and so I put another, so it will be darker. Or sometime I take another brush to take off quickly the cyanotype, so it is lighter. You see, there is really I'm playing as a painter. For the beginning, to make my paper, to make my sensitive liquid, to put the sensitive liquid on the paper. This is the first time thing. After that, I've prepared around me. I do that nearly in the dark, not complete, but very dark. And I've put things around me, and I have ideas about what I'm going to do, but there is you say in English improvisation. So
yes, I think it's correct.
It's correct. So really, there is improvisation to put all the things which I've decided to take. You see, I have an idea, but finally. It's never exactly what I thought I would do. I would have done. You know, it's really experimentation, but it's for me it's fascinating, and I've done a lot of those, and I'm waiting for summer because it's not.
In summer you have to be in Barcelona. You are not going to have time to do this kind of images. I have just one question. You are not using negatives. You are just using some objects.
For the moment, I use object. I have the project to use negative, and I know how to. I first learned with negative.
Okay.
But for the moment, it's only photographs.
Great. And which paper are you using? Gal was asking.
Two paper, animal paper.
Animular, yes.
And I don't know. I can't.
Okay, but it's a photographic paper. It's not like a normal paper.
Yes, it's photographic paper. It is not. Yes, it's only photographic paper made for alternative photographic process. It's paper made for alternative photographic process.
Okay.
And I think my problem is that this is the animal. But I do large thing. I do my body.
Okay, nice.
And I can't do it with animal. And it's another one, and I can't remember. But it's another one paper. But it's made for cyanotype, for palladium, for all sort of process.
Okay, amazing. Will, do you have any question? If you have any question?
I was going to say it's really interesting that you say you use your paintbrush like a painter, because a painter is they know what the print is going to look like as they're doing it, or as the painting looks like as they do it. But obviously you don't 100% know what the image is going to look like until you've exposed it. How long do you expose them for? Because they're, compared to other cyanotypes, the blue color is not that vivid color that people typically kind of associate with the process. And is that part of the fact you only expose them for a short amount of time, or is that more? I never experimented with wet cyanotypes, so I don't know whether that's a result of them being wet or the fact you only expose it for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, you are right. The exposure is important, but I didn't tell you all. I will tell you. I dry it completely.
Oh, okay.
And after that, I put it in a solution, water solution of bicarbonate of sodium. And I look, I know how long, I know it's going to be clear. I put the powder at some places and then in the water, so that I can, you're right, I'm not a painter. There is a part which is, I'm not sure of it, but I have good ideas where it's going to be more light or not.
Yeah.
It's really cyanotype, the basic cyanotype, the afterwards are really playing with the chemical. Yeah. And I like it, that's what I like.
Okay, thank you so much, Catherine. I think we had a question, but have you tried to wet the paper and the brush with pure water before putting the chemicals?
I did not tell you all. I wet my, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. We don't have enough time for everything, you know.
Of course, I do wet my paper completely first, and I dry it on with a fabric. So it's not completely wet, but it must be a bit wet.
Okay.
My paper, I put it in the water, take it out, like the people who are engravers. They do that. They weight the paper. So I weight the paper. I dried it a bit, but not completely, and then I paint. You are right.
Okay, thank you so much, Catherine. I think it's much clearer now, and I'm really surprised because it's like in the middle between chemigrams and cyanotype. I was really interested and surprised, because we are always looking for and trying to play within the limits of all the techniques. This was amazing to know your work. Let's go to the next one. It's Carlos Garcia from Mexico. Carlos, if you are there and you can explain a little bit about this amazing image, it would be great. I was really surprised and happy of seeing also this geometrical work of art that you send us.
Thank you. Soy un poco malo con el inglés, entonces no sé si me quieran traducir o si me disculpan por mi mala pronunciación.
Te disculpamos, tú inténtalo.
Okay. They say over there a photograph isn't a photography and is printed. Cyanotype is a forget response in the time to this press. As this one of the best ways in which one can create unique and unrepeatable image. I want to assume that unlike everyone else, at first I also wanted to print my best photographs in cyanotype, but over time and practice I realized the real value of this process, which is not about printing everything you can to save it to a file, but that is an unlimited world of creation, a different way of looking at photography. I want to assume that like with the work as photographer, I seek to portray the lyrical and usual of this life. Well, white cyanotype, I seek to follow this line to create unique image loaded with a visual impact that often the digital image or a negative cannot offer, on their own. However, Cyanotype also me to hype a new artist fiction to edge photograph. This image, her name is Testigo. This is a photographic of the moon, and they have many things with the nature. The moon, for me, it's a watcher to I all we do it, and this is I don't say ofrenda in English, but this is a offrend to me to the moon.
It's like a gift, como un regalo, like a gift.
Yes, there is. I use it the nature to compose this image to have a feeling to the moon, the feeling to security, and he's see to all we do it, and that's born from this.
Okay, Carlos, can you explain us, because we have the moon in the center, and then we have like a circle, blue, and then we have another circle in white and another circle in blue. How do you do this technically? I mean, what was your process?
I do sigo teniendo un poco de problemas con eso.
Explícalo en español si quieres y te traduzco, venga, no pasa nada.
Okay. Bueno, en realidad esto va como en el sentido de cómo la luna va hacia la naturaleza, cómo va regresando hacia nosotros. En el círculo del medio hice el primer círculo con la luna, y el segundo círculo hice referenciado a cómo la luna viene hacia la naturaleza de nosotros.
Ok, espera que traduzco. This is an image about what's a relationship between the moon and the nature. The first circle is the moon, and the second circle is how the moon is coming to the humans. Carlos, después.
Y en el último círculo trataba de, bueno, se veían un poco de pajaritos, pero realmente no salieron tan bien en la imagen.
Okay.
Entonces iba referenciado a cómo ya no solo es la naturaleza, sino también entra dentro de cada ser humano que vive en el mundo, ¿no? Cómo la luna nos ayuda.
Okay. And the third circle is about what the moon helps us as humans to be in the earth. ¿Y cómo lo has hecho? ¿Es un solo negativo? ¿Son distintos negativos? ¿Son distintos momentos? ¿Es una doble exposición? ¿Cómo lo has hecho?
Bueno, va como un poco en la idea de la multiexposición. Son 3 fotos diferentes. La primera foto es de un eclipse de luna roja que ocurrió hace un año más o menos. Y enseguida le monté, ahora sí, el siguiente negativo, que son plantas que tomé de los árboles que tengo afuera de mi casa. Okay. Y en el tercer negativo eran los pajaritos que se veían arriba de las ramas. Esto lo hice ahora sí que pintándolo cada circulito y tratando de acomodar el negativo para que solo dieran aquella parte.
Okay, this is like a triple exposure, but this was not done in the camera, as Morel said, but it's done directly when he's printing. He put the first negative and he put the cyanotype in the first one. He waits to do the exposition, then he do the second one, and then he do the third one. It's like a triple exposure in different parts of the image, but it's like a triple exposure done in the exposition. I think it's interesting because it's different of what Morel was saying. Ok, Carlos, thank you very much. ¿Alguna cosa más que quieras contarnos de esta imagen?
Bueno, en realidad esta imagen forma parte de las otras 4, que es una serie llamada Vida. Va referenciada justamente a esta parte de cómo bueno, principalmente yo cómo me he sentido en este encierro de la pandemia del COVID-19. Okay. Y pues si quieren pasar a verlas, pueden seguirme en Instagram.
Okay, thank you so much, Carlos. He's saying that if you want to see this series, You can follow him on Instagram. This is a series of 5 images related with life, and he's trying to reflect and to try to show how was he feeling about the pandemic and all this situation. He was also explaining that these trees were also part of his house, that everyone was really close related with his reality, close to him. Thank you so much, Carlos. We are going to hear to Almudena from Spain. Also, she's going to explain us this amazing image. I want to know if this snake is for real or don't. This is the first question that I have to do before you start explain it, because it's crazy.
Hello everyone, this is Almu. I rather you to call me Almu because Almudena is quite long and very, very boring for me at least.
Okay.
Not a single animal was hurt in this process. Just bear in mind that this snake is very fully alive.
Okay.
But you know, so many reptiles tend to renovate the skin.
Okay.
So, same as Catherine said before, I used to collect any single thing that I can, use again. Plastic, glass, anything that I can find that I can give it another purpose that is not meant to have, because I didn't think that I was going to use that skin snake. I didn't know if it was going to work, but as I said, I like to use very unconventional materials. I'm from the south of Spain, from Sevilla, which is a city that has almost 320 days of sun in the whole year.
Not bad for doing cyanotypes.
That's the thing. So I just want to be very specific in this, because I do sun prints. I use the sun as a source of energy for this process. I don't use any UV light or anything like that. I exclusively use sun. So sometimes it's difficult for me to achieve the same blue in a series, because as you know, it depends on the sun that you're using in the time of the year. It's not the same using the sun in the winter time at 12 o'clock in the morning. It's not the same using the sun at 4 o'clock in Sevilla in the summer, which is like super hot. You reach 45 degrees easily. So it's very tricky to get to the point that you know exactly the position of the print. Basically, this series, it's called There's a Snake in My Bathtub. It's like a fiction tale that I put on my mind, because I was working with the skin and I was trying to achieve this sort of a 3D effect. So the snake is not completely, plain on the paper. So you got that feeling that it's gonna get into those eggs that are actually stones, or like crystal clear stones. So you get this sort of. I actually got it here with me.
I thought that you have the snake with you, and I said, I don't know if I want to see that.
No. Actually, the snakes are not mine. I'm actually broadly scared of them. So just far away from me. And what I was going to say is that I use the crystal clear stones to create this effect of egg, because in my mind this was some sort of a fictional tale of a snake trying to hatch the eggs from the bathtub. I don't know, it's a bit fucked up, but it's my fictional tale.
Okay.
What else? I try to expose usually during the same hour, so I get the same blue as I said before, but usually it doesn't happen like that all the time. And as I said, I like to use the very abstract objects to create light and shadows, which is really fun for me. I also use my analog pictures, because I've been shooting analog for many years now. And I think I have much more fun using different objects to create these sort of fictional things. And it's sort of abstract, and I like the fact that everyone is gonna, interpret it something different. It's just very open to everyone.
Okay, someone was asking in the chat if you are using powder or you are using the liquids that they come already mixed.
No, I use raw material, raw chemicals, always.
Okay. Okay.
Always.
You are coming to the festival, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Meet you soon, Almudena. We are going to be here for having an amazing summer camp. Here is going to be hot, and we have the beach, but not so hot that in the south of Spain. At least that's good.
Hopefully not.
No, it's going to be better. And then we have this amazing weather that during the night is cold. You are going to have fun for sure. Okay, thank you so much, Almudena. We are going with Eva now to see also this amazing image that is also like a chemigram for my mind. I want her to explain us how she did this because it's also amazing. And we are going to try to go fast because we have almost 45 minutes here.
Hi. Well, technically, this is a failure because this image doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
It's about a meter or two high. I built it actually, so that center structure isn't necessary in terms of the structure of the canvas, but the original image, it follows the line of a clothesline. So this is my grandmother, and I wanted to airbrush cyanotype, which I hadn't heard of anyone doing. So while I was at university, I tried to airbrush cyanotype from powder, but it turns out when you combine cyanotype powder with acrylic medium, it actually hardens the cyanotype, so that didn't work. And I tried to expose it with a UV bed because I study in London. It's like I'm Australian, but I'm at uni in London. So UV beds do not work for cyanotype at this scale because that's not on paper, it's on a polyester fabric. So polyester fabric is completely water retardant. So I had to coat this in like 4 layers of acrylic primer. This was my 3rd attempt coating the canvas. It's a triple coated cyanotype. Which hasn't really worked, but I think there's something quite interesting in that because I hadn't really seen anything like it at the time. So what I'm trying to do is produce images that step outside of the two-dimensional, but something that's 3-dimensional and has more intensity to it than just a flat surface. I typically build machines and I make like drawing machines and cameras, so this is more aligned with what I normally do. But if you have any other questions, I think that's pretty well me.
Eleanor was saying that she used a water spray bottle to coat fabric. Have you tried that?
Yeah, I've tried to, but because it's completely water retardant, I've had to almost create like a synthetic skin upon it to actually give it any adherence. It's so it's quite fickle. It's like using liquid emulsion in some ways. It reminds me a lot of that. If you just don't have enough tooth, it washes off.
Yes, and I don't know if I get lost or you didn't explain, but what was the process? You have the fabric, you put it like 2 or 3 different times.
Yeah.
The cyanotype, and then how do you do the exposure?
So I exposed it on a UV bed for 2 hours, and that still wasn't long enough.
Okay.
So when I took it to wash it, I think it actually might have been because the pH of the water I was using was too high, but using a large brush, I had to hand develop it. And the problem I had was the first stroke, the areas that you can see parts of an image, that worked. And then the moment it would water would touch it a second time, it would literally wash off. So those patches where the blue is really intense have been developed once, and then those areas where it's quite white, it's just washed away with the second brush stroke. So this image was just in between it being developed. I don't know if that answers your question though.
Somehow, yes.
Did you get a photograph of it once you'd finished completely, once it had been washed completely? Was there anything left?
It was so unbelievably faint. It does exist in some, if you sort of see that area where the washing basket is, like to the center bottom, that's there faintly. And I had done it 4 times and lined up the same negative in the same spot 4 times. So I think when I get back to doing this again, I'm going to have to try doing it in actual sunlight because it just isn't working with the UV bed. It's not bright enough. So
I don't know if you'll get bright enough with the UK sunlight, to be honest.
Yes, you have to go back to Australia to do this kind of images.
Well, I'm in South Africa right now, and it would be great for them to have this, but no. Yeah, thank you.
I think it's interesting because at some point you have this idea of movement, your image, because like the what's the name of this? The gravity of the the gravity is like following the cyanotype, and at the same time it's like really you're just losing, the image is losing that this is a problem typical from cyanotypes and conservation of cyanotypes, but this is just getting even worse when you have like this kind of materials that is really hard, as you explained, just to keep the material there. I think it's just making faster the dying of cyanotype. That is also a good thing to reflect, and that we are going to be talking in some group in a couple of minutes. Also, thank you so much for this image. I was really also surprised about this image, because this amazingly capacity of expressing things, because it looks like I have the feeling that it's like a jail, that someone is trying to go beyond this jail and capture inside something, It's really, really expressive and really, really different of what we are used to see in cyanotype. That's why I was happy that you sent it, that you answered the email fast, and I say, okay, this one is good. Thank you so much, Eva, and we are going to Husara is there also from Brazil to explain us this image. I think the title is Everyone, Todos Nós, might mean something like this in Portuguese. I think Husara was with his child.
Hi. I'm very happy to be here. I don't speak English, so now I'm going to read the small text, okay? I am Jussara, Brazilian plastic artist, photography teacher for 17 years in various universities. I researched alternative photography process since 2003. Well, this work is part of the series, The Secret of Life Interconnections, developed in the international event World Cyanotype Day 2020, promoted by the Smith Gallery of Texas, USA, which the theme interconnected. The technique is cyanotyped on white through fabric, and I embroidered with golden threads, thinking about this period of isolation and interconnections. This work is 25 centimeters in diameter, and the images are photo montages of drawings and piece of family crochet. To produce the works, I step by enumerate stages, which intervention and layers. The golden embroidered was joined to 2 layers of distant blues. Activate it manual intervention on the negative. The world revolves in transformation, seeking simplicity and dialogue with my ideas of recycling memory. Symbol of autonomy and balance, the bike is a concept of life, linked to ideas of movement, freedom, speed, technique, and respect for nature. This balance depends on the constant movement that propels it forward. I believe that we are interconnected in the sacred moment of clearness, of person and collective progress within our planet. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Husara. It was really amazing, and I was just seeing the image, and your explanation was perfect. I mean, it was really reflect how hard it is to do this kind of image, because you have all these the mix of negatives, then you have to do the cyanotype, then you have to do the embroidery, and I think that is really interesting, because you have I mean, the form and the content is perfect. I mean, you are talking about freedom, and you are talking about the COVID, but at the same time, our interconnection. I think that anyone that can see this image in the world can have this idea really clear. You know, two people in a bicycle, there is birds. I mean, I think it's really, really well connected, the idea with the result, and that you are using it technically perfectly. I mean, mixing the cyanotype, the embroidery, this intervention. I think it's a really great work, and we are having 4 or 5 comments on the chat, and everyone is amazing with this. I mean, I don't have any question because I think it's perfect, and this can be because you have been a teacher of photography for 17 years, and this gives you something really, really clear. I don't know if we'll have any question or something, but I don't know. Just in love with this image, and I think it's perfect. I mean, I have no.
It's a beautiful image. There's something always so compelling about the when people use the kind of gold against the blue that you get with a cyanotype. It always works amazingly. It's such a nice arrangement of colors.
Yes.
The thing with cyanotype as well is just when you think, the way that I work with my prints, it's kind of collaging as well, and just when you think you've got it perfect and you've arranged everything beautifully, you're then exposing it. It's only once it's exposed that you'll notice that that a piece of paper was folded in the corner, or something was slightly off, and or there's a hair on your print or something like that.
So true.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Will. Husara, do you have something else to see? We are just happy, really, really happy of knowing your work. Hope everyone is going to follow you, because I think you are going to keep showing us amazing images like this.
Muchas gracias, sí.
Obrigado.
Muy contenta.
Nosotros también de que estés aquí con nosotros. Okay, thank you so much. Camila, are you there? Camila from Chile? If it's Camila with us, she can explain this anthotype.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, nice to see you.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Oh, we lose your sound. Now.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Yes.
now it's working. Okay, thank you, Camila. Can you explain us this image, please?
Yes. Well, I as a photographer, I work with alternative processes a few years ago now, but yet now 2020 with the pandemic, I discovered the technique using plants. I've always used chemicals, and I started working with these processes because I thought now that everyone has a camera in our cell phones, it's really easy to make photographs, but the alternative processes requires more technique and more knowledgement of these techniques, and it's really beautiful because we learn how photography really works. What's the essence of the technique, and to draw with light, that's what photography means. And I didn't knew that plants could get photosensitive too. So with the pandemic, there was really big amount of material online, so you can make your own photographs at home. And here in Chile, we have the lucky that we really have a lot of flowers and a lot of plants that grow only here and not anyone else. And we have very sunny days. I live in the center of Chile, really near from Santiago, where's the capital city. And I've heard your stories, so you have a few sunny days, and here in Chile it's the opposite. I think where I live we get I think 300 sunny days a year, so it's really beautiful to use this sun. and I've been making a workshop with these techniques, and my students are from London and Spain, and it's been really hard for them now in winter to make the photographs. And here in Chile we are now in summer, and in a few days the anthotype is ready. So I think I've discovered I live in a lucky country where I can develop these images. So I've been doing a few research, and I've discovered not only that the flowers contain photosensitive materials and vegetables too. We have heard that cabbage and sort of stuff can only work with anthotype, but I've now started to research with trees, with the leaves of trees. And it's beautiful because it becomes a really, really green, so almost like yellow, and it gets with the sun. It's really, really beautiful. And I've made this week my first, I don't know how to say it in English, La Rosa Cromática.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's this round that the people that studies watercolor made with all the colors that they have.
Okay.
When you get the blue, yellow, green,
the
and
color
then all
wheel?
in the middle. Yeah, the color wheel. And I've discovered since I started the anthotype, I developed all the colors that the rainbow has. So I've developed my own color wheel with anthotype process, and I have found in the nature the color blue, green, yellow, pink, violet, and red.
Have you tried to mix them, like to do like a color image, mixing the techniques like gum bichromatate?
Yes, I've tried, but it always gets to the color, to the brown color. As if you mix all the colors at, when you paint, you get always this poop color, the brown color, really, really ugly. So
maybe you have to put like a layer between one and the other, not to mix. You know, they have this spray. What's the name? That it makes it that you can change it anymore, like between the layers.
I've tried to expose one half with a color and the other half of the paper with the other color, but the exposure times from both colors, it's not always the same. So you get the half is underexposed and the other half is good exposed. So it's a double challenge. You have to find two colors that have the same exposure times. So it's always, when you're experimenting, it's always very difficult when you have so many options.
Okay, we have one question from Eva. How long do your anthotypes last? After how many times do you can have it and then they just lost?
It really depends on the paper you use, and it depends whether you used water or you used alcohol, because alcohol really destroys the paper, and the image gets vanished, whether it's in a dark place or not, because the alcohol is really, really aggressive with paper. So my anthotypes are now just made with water, and this one that you're showing, I made it in May 2020, and now with the open call, it looks practically the same. But I keep it in a dark place, and the pictures I have given away or sold, I always say, please hang it in a wall without the direct sunlight, because it's the natural process of the image. It would continue vanishing. So it's really beautiful.
Okay, thank you so much, Camila. You have sent us an email, a long email that I have answered to you. Thank you so much for your ideas. We are just keeping all the ideas from everyone. Thank you so much for being here and also showing this anthotype. We are going to go to the next one. Brooke, if you can explain us this image that is also amazing, we will be really happy.
Thank you. Hi, everyone.
Thank you.
So I am based in California, and my artistic background is various practices, painting, collage, photography, and I came to cyanotype, experimenting with cyanotype in the last 3.5 years, and I do a lot of hiking and backpacking, and that is what inspired my connection and experiences with nature, inspire my compositions. So I use the cyanotype fluid as a painting medium, and I paint in layers and expose each layer to light for a different amount of time to achieve a range of tones of blue. And a lot of my pieces, I collect and press plants from my hikes and I use those, but this winter I wanted to try kind of a winter series that doesn't use any of the botanical aspects and just focuses on painting and trying to achieve a range of tones of blue. This is there's a small waterfall that I went hiking to a lot at the beginning of this year, and I sort of glorified it into this giant majestic thing that it really wasn't, because we haven't gotten a lot of rain here. So the waterfall is very small and trickling, but it was such an important place for me to be able to go to get out of the house, and I was so grateful to be able to sit there for a while and experience this on a regular basis, that it sort of took on these mythical proportions for me in my mind. So I just wanted to represent that in a painting. So
okay, can you explain exactly the process? Because I'm not a specialist in cyanotype in any way, and I'm really surprised about how can you mix the colors and everything. I mean, I can understand the moon, that if you are having a paper or something with this form, you can have it like the moon. But I don't get exactly how do you the rest, and also in the sky, that you can see this I don't know, fungus thing or something. How do you do that?
So I think about I paint in the darker areas first. So when I come up with a composition, I loosely sketch it out, but I don't know exactly, what I want. Some spontaneity in it as a painter as well. So I just had a very basic, shape of the outline. And then I will go in and say, okay, where do I want the darkest areas to be? Those are the areas I need to expose the longest. So I paint those in first. So that would be the sky and the darker lines trickling down. And then I will expose that for a couple of hours. And then I will come back, in and I will paint in where I want the medium tones to go. And I will expose that for another amount of time. And then I'll go in and do the lighter tones last and expose that for a short amount of time, and then wash everything out. And then the sky, I used salt to create the stars. And I found that sand also works really well. Salt will kind of start to dissolve and create these rings and these auras. So if you don't want that, sand is better because the sand stays put. And but I think that the salt makes a bigger impact, on the piece. So
no, it's great. I mean, the result is really different of what we are used to see in cyanotypes in general. Which paper are you using, or which is the support of this image?
It's a printmaking paper called Reeves BFK.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If you have the link, you can send us, because people is really freak out with different kind of papers. If you can send it to everyone, people can see and learn something new. Okay. Thank you so much, Brooke. I mean, I'm really surprised with this image, and I think that everyone has learned something about the thing of the salt for the sky, and also the technique of the different parts with the exposition. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hope you're having fun in your national park and in your
Thank you.
Okay, Lucia from Argentina, can you explain us a little bit about this image? We are really surprised also with this mixed media.
Hello.
Also this embroidering. Hello.
¿Me escuchan?
Sí, te escuchamos.
Bueno, Voy a leer, ¿sí? Porque no sé mucho inglés.
Venga, venga, venga.
Eh, bien. I hold a fine art graduate degree, so I come from pictorial artistic branch. In this time, I have devoted my artistic effort to 2 projects. One project on a woman that is going for 10 years now. Then the main approach in this project is transparency as an expression of the invisibility of women in the society. And another project called Footprints of Nature, which is going on for 4 years now. What is this work pertenece, belongs, and that project. Here I use the same technique. Here experiment using natural elements and not photographic negative. For a number of years, I have been looking for other techniques to act as enhancers and accents for the cyanotype. For example, I have applied flame glass on cyanotype on wood, and in this work, I applied embroidery on paper. That my last and most fascinating encounter was with embroidery on paper, which generates other textures and requires delicate treatment on the supports, which invites me to enter a certain mystic state. This work is 30 centimeter diameter work, belongs to the Little Blue World series and is 100% made on acid-free cotton paper. The embroidery is also made with cotton thread. I use roots from plants from my own garden and directly expose the work to the sun. This piece of art represents the earth and its gift of life, and it's mounted on iron structure which represents parallels, meridians, and the axis of earth.
Muy bien, Lucía, muy bien, muy bien. La verdad que nos ha quedado muy claro, y yo he ido mostrando como detalles y ejemplos de lo que estabas tú mostrando aquí en la imagen, porque realmente es una imagen pequeña pero preciosa en todos sus detalles, tanto en la técnica es súper expresivo como en los detalles de la cuestión del tejido y todo eso, así que muchísimas gracias por enseñarlo, digamos.
Gracias. I use salt also in the top with the artist antes de mí.
Yes, before you, Brooke.
Exactly.
Salt here in the sky.
Salt. Yes, salt. And the rest is roots.
Okay.
Directly.
Nice. Thank you so much, Lucia, for this work. I don't know if we'll have any question. If not, we are going to go with the last one from Netherlands.
There was just a question that someone had written in the chat about whether it was embroidered by hand or whether it was put through a sewing machine.
Okay.
No, te lo digo castellano.
Sí.
El bordado es a mano, tiene la particularidad que el bordado en papel requiere mucha atención y concentración. ¿Te dejo traducir?
Yes, she's saying that all the embroidery was made by hand, but as this is a paper, it's really hard. You have to be really concentrated for doing embroidery on paper.
Yeah, if you go in the wrong place with paper, there's no hiding it.
Exactly. No hay retorno. Donde está la perforación quedó. Y esto es lo que yo decía de que entro en un estado de comunión con el trabajo mientras lo hago.
Okay.
¿No?
When she's doing this, as you have to be really focused and really concentrated, she's just like getting lost with this like really focus on the work that she's doing, like what's the name of communion?
Yes. Cuando
like
hago
really
el
connected
cianotipo,
with the work.
yes. Con la primera parte del cianotipo entro en una etapa totalmente lúdica y de juego.
Okay, she's just playing in the first part with cyanotype.
Yes. The second part, really concentric.
Really
¿Lo
focus.
dije bien?
Perfect. Focus or concentrated is okay.
Focus. Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Lucia, for showing us this work. I mean, I think that everyone can learn a lot from this amazing technique and also from mixing and also the intervention. We have just last question about the paper. Which paper are you using for this?
Papel de algodón, 100% algodón, libre de ácido, un papel que se usa para el grabado.
Grabado es engraving, isn't it?
No sé cómo se dice, claro.
Yes, it's a paper for engraving that is 100% cotton.
Libre de ácido.
No acid, free of acid. ¿Cuántos gramos? ¿300 gramos?
300, sí.
300, yes, Dulce Sanchez was saying that. Okay, thank you so much. We are going for the last one. We have Don Bossen from Netherlands to explain the last image. Then we are just going to go to the groups. Okay, I have the last one at the beginning. Don Bossen was here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
All right, perfect. Thank you. First, I think it's important for me to tell something about how I got into photography. One of my teachers, he was, during my time at the academy, he told something about the work of Ulay, who worked a lot with Abramovich. And Ulay, he made his really big Polaroids of himself. So he made really big selfies, which he didn't fix. So the image disappeared over time. But Ulay, he asked the questions like, you've seen the image and now it isn't there anymore. So where did the image go? Because you have seen it, but it isn't now there. And I was really interested in this whole concept of like the connection between material and form, and also between like when it fades away, it just becomes like material again. So this is like how I got into photography. And because when I made this work, this was also one of my first cyanotypes. I did some on paper, but then I started thinking, like, how can I add something more to certain exposures I took? Because I really like to discover like doing different kinds of subjects on different kinds of undergrounds. And this one, you can't see it anymore, but I took a camera to the sea, which you have to crank to take exposures. And once I got hang of the camera, I took like exposures in the rhythm of the waves. So these are like three separate exposures on top of each other.
Okay.
But yeah, they disappeared in the during the process because I made like a size of A4. This is the size of an A4 paper and a centimeter thick. I made like a gypsum or plaster plate, but instead of making it with water, usually you mix the powder with water. I mix it with salt water. So really a lot of salt in the water. And then when the plate was dried, I applied the cyanotype chemicals on it. And then I exposed it. And after exposure, I saw like these crazy crystals coming up, and really the images just completely disappeared. And I really found that really interesting to see, like to discover like how material can affect like the process or making an image. So this was really for me something which I couldn't think of like beforehand. So
can you explain us, or do you know where this is coming? I mean, the image was left, but what happened with this? Where are they coming from, I think it's just a reaction between like the cyanotype chemicals and the salt in the plate. So I don't know. I also left it outside because I didn't know how it would react. So I kept like well ventilated. But
No, I still didn't figure out how it exactly works, but that's part of the.
Okay, and the colors are vanishing, as you have seen during the time that these blue parts are leaving, or what? How it keep going, you know? Because this is live, you know. This is not dead. This is a picture going on.
Yes, exactly. In the beginning, it was like really yellowish, but then as the crystals started to form, it was really light blue, and now it's like all brownish.
Okay.
But it's really the crystals are really fragile, so I had to make like a glass cover over it.
Yes.
When you zoom in, you can also see it has like a glass cover over it.
Yes.
Which I find quite which also was a part of the experiment, because I was working with a deadline and I never had worked with glass before. So I had to make this protective thing over it. And on the left hand, you can see like these little bubbles as well in the glass. And the glass is also like, when the light shines on it, it also changes the image, because it has the small dots, and it works quite nice with the crystals as well. So yeah.
Great. We have a question from Melanie Jane. Does this stabilize Prit? Is it still changing? Can you fix it?
I think it's now it's stopped. Now it's stopped. It's all brown. But I did some different plates. I made some plates, and on some I applied the chemicals when the gypsum was still wet, and some on some dry plates I applied the chemicals, and some I fixed after exposing with what's it called, vinegar. Okay. So some of them, they are really still yellow, but this one is like completely brown now.
Okay, we are really happy with this image, and we are really surprised about the process, and we are really happy that you were experimenting. You know, that you were looking for something different, and the result is amazing. If someone is saying in the chat, I think it's really interesting to document all the process, because there is no like a final photography. The process is the interesting thing of this part, and we are not like this, but you can find a lot of people saying this is not a picture, you know, this is not an image, this is not a photography. We are really happy with this. I think this is the exactly good way we can mix science and photography, and we can find new ideas for the future and new ways of representation of the reality, and also question the techniques. I mean, from the point of view of an experimenter, this is fucking amazing, and I think you have a lot of things to keep going and to try to understand what's happened here, you know, chemically. I know that it's a hard work, because if you are not from chemistry, you don't know what is happening. But the most that you can make research on it, I think for sure that you are going to be able to control the process, and also to teach other people to keep working, because I mean the result is amazing.
Thank you. Yeah.
Melanie is saying that you have to keep working and make something to teach us how to work with this, because it's great. Okay, thank you so much, Don, for your explanation and from your image. We are really happy of having you also with us tonight or today or this morning, depending on where you are. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you so much. We are really, really glad that you are here and having this amazing conversation. We have more than 200 comments on the chat. Sorry if we were not able to arrive to them all, but we don't want to take more time of you. I'm amazed and I'm surprised about this amount of big things that we have learned today. You are great. I mean, we are having examples all the time that we can keep making more experimental photography, that we can keep going, that photography is not that we can see in our phones every day, that there is something more there. We invite you to keep looking for the future of photography, because for sure we are going to find amazing things there. We are going to close now the first part, and we are going to the second part with the groups. Just to explain fast how it's going to work, you are going to be in a group with 6 or 7 people, and someone is going to have a question, okay? You are going to have a moderator in your group. just double checking your email, who are the moderators, because if you have two moderators in the same group, just wait, because someone is going to go to another group. I have to do that manually, and that can take a couple of minutes. Just accept going to Zoom is going to send you automatically, but you have to accept. Okay, you are going to see that everyone is leaving. You have to accept, go to the small group, and then in the small group, you are going to have someone moderating and talking just for 20, 25 minutes about the question. I'm going to send a message when we have just 5 more minutes, just to be sure to close the debate and everything, and then we are coming back for having a brief comment on what happened in the rest of the groups. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. See you here in 25 minutes. Just accept the invitation to go to the small group that Zoom is going to send you. Okay?
I didn't quite understand. Where am I gonna get that invitation? By email or
no,
here?
No, just here,
Zoom?
somewhere in this screen.
Okay, just in Zoom.
Yes, just wait, because Zoom might send you. If not, you can go out and come back, and we are going to see that you are out, and we are going to assign you another. But just wait. I mean, it's just say accept, and it's going to be okay. Okay, Heather, don't leave. We need you accepting. Okay. See you in 15 minutes, 25 minutes. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
See you.
Sorry that we might have a moderator in this group, but we don't have one. I'm coming if you are not talking about.
No, we didn't know who the moderator was, Pablo. So yeah.
I don't know why, but we were waiting for Heather, from Kimberly from Chile. She might be in this group, but she's not. I don't know what happened with her, but she's not. I think she just went out of the conversation. Something technological happens in the middle, and we just get lost. Sorry, you were talking about something?
Oh, I was just asking about cyanolumens, yeah, and I just tried some early today.
She used Kodak photo paper, one of the images. That definitely is a photo paper. It's not like a BFK, Revere, or Hahnemuhle. It's really photographic paper. You expose either UV light outside or indoor.
Yeah.
I mean outside sun. Yeah. And I think she used cellophane. You know, the plastic wrap after you apply the cyanotype and the plant.
Okay.
So it's I have one of the images in my Instagram. You can see it's the cyanotype first image. So that's what is when you apply cyanotype onto photographic paper, and then you put the plastic wrap, and it creates holds the chemical in certain area more than the other areas.
Right. Yeah.
And you can spray other like vinegar.
Yeah.
Salt, calcium carbonate.
Okay.
Liquid you put into
lemon. Thank you so much, Gul. The question that we have in this group was about the mixing of the techniques. How can we mix cyanotype with other things, with liquid emulsion, with gum bricomatrate, or whatever? What have you done some mixing of techniques with cyanotypes, Wendy or Gul, wherever you want to start?
I mean, mostly I do cyanotype lumen. I use a lot lately, and I think it's more and more fun. And also I started using, I'm planning to use a liquid emulsion because it's the base is a photo paper.
Yes.
And also I use
But how do you mix them? How do you mix liquid emulsion and cyanotype?
Liquid emulsion I haven't started yet.
Okay. Sorry, I thought that you were mixing.
But cyanolumen is very easy because it's you use a photo paper, not photographic paper. It's a really silver gelatin darkroom paper. You use cyanolumen, and then chemigram is part of like. Chemigram means developer and fixer comes into place. How I use it gradually. I put into the water to soften the process, and you can take it out and dry it out and you apply again. And you can wait a couple days, you come back again. So it depends on your desire. You can this process is all about following your gut feeling and connecting yourself and in healing and hearing your inner self and inner voice. So whatever you feel inside of your gut, do it. Don't be here and just dive into it.
Nice. That's the way it might work. Wendy, do you have any experience about mixing techniques?
Yeah, I've mixed cyanotype with gum bichromate. So,
to make it more colorful.
Yeah, so you do like a tricolor gum process.
How do you do? You do gum first and then cyano, or?
Yeah. So normally you kind of like you split the channels, so you have your kind of red, green, and red, yellow, and green channel. Sorry, and then what I was doing by a guy that I was taught, Martin Grimmer, he was using cyanotype as the final process. So the 3 channels were split between the red channel, the yellow channel first. So the lighties goes on the yellow channel first, let that dry, then the red channel, and then the final channel is the cyanotype process, which really gives it kind of, the cyanotype at the end, kind of like to give, that sort of like a pop. Doing work at home, I've kind of mixed cyanotype with screen printing. So I do my cyanotype and then I screen print on top of that.
What is a screen print?
You know the screens that you get with the kind of like inks, you can do photo silk screen printing, and it's a big screen.
Silk.
Yeah, photo silk screen. Yeah, so I've mixed those 2 processes.
Okay.
And I was saying this morning that I tried, I don't know if you can see this, but this morning I tried this cyanolumen, and it was on photographic paper, so you've got the lumen underneath the cyanotype, but my first go, so I was quite pleased with that.
Ok. Carlos, la pregunta es sobre si has trabajado alguna vez mezclando técnicas. O sea, si el cianotipio lo has mezclado en algún momento con otra técnica.
Sí, igual justamente un par de veces lo intenté con la goma bicromatada, pero en realidad es un poco muy laborioso.
Okay. He has been trying with gum bichromatate and cyano, but it's really hard.
He intentado esto. Es la misma emulsión del cianotipo, pero con Coca-Cola.
Oh.
Okay. Pero ¿qué hace? Pones la Coca-Cola en los polvos.
No, es como manera de virador.
Okay. At the end, he puts Coca-Cola when he's washing it.
In the bichromate? Gum bichromate?
No. It's a cyanotype, normal cyanotype, but he's doing a bath of Coca-Cola in the end. ¿Y cómo cambia esto? ¿Qué has visto tú que hace? Simplemente pone estos tonos diferentes al papel.
Sí, justo le da como un tono más como, no digamos como sepia, sino como más cafezoso.
Okay.
Y deslavado.
Okay, because normally we are doing this kind of bath with different things, but I have never heard about Coca-Cola.
Y esta, que no sé si se alcanza a ver, es una patineta chiquitita.
Down with cyanotype.
Ajá.
Wow.
Nice. Husara, have you been working with this mixed technique, mixing cyanotype with other things?
Essa mistura de técnicas.
Eu trabalhei com cyanotype, caliotype, o marrom Bondyke, sim, na mistura. Várias coisas. Agora tenho intentado cyanotype sobre el vidro.
Okay, glass and cyanotype, she's trying that one.
Sí, aí pinto assim. Assim. Sobre vidro.
Más cerca. Okay.
Sí.
Nice.
Very difficult.
Sí. Es dorado. Sí, el dorado.
¿De dónde viene el dorado?
Sí, de eso es una tinta, ¿sí?
No, pintado por detrás.
Pintado, sí, pintado. Primero expone el vino con cianótipo, ¿sí?
Okay.
Después intervengo, ¿sí?
Okay.
Una de las...
No. If you want to translate, if not, I can just say she was doing cyanotype in glass, and then she was painting in the background just to have it this gold finishing.
Time.
I want to ask something, but I just get lost. I'm tired.
I was just going to show you the example.
Okay, the gum bichromatate and cyanotype.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you put it closer? I'm bold and.
Randy, my experience with
nice.
with bichromate is mixing with these two techniques. You need to apply first cyanotype because otherwise, if you try to apply to gum bichromate first, and cyanotype doesn't suck in. So you need to do first cyanotype and then gum bichromate techniques.
I think the guy that was teaching us did, because you can see the cyanotype worked on that, the background. So, and that was the final coat was the cyanotype. So that's the way he showed us.
Okay,
but that's interesting.
It's interesting. You have. It would be nice to try both process. You know, one first and then the other, and see the results.
Yeah.
In the end, that's the most interesting thing.
El trabajo de Carlos, yo también tonalicé con café. Café.
Bath with coffee.
Otros materiales. Es muy interesante la mistura.
Yeah. It changes it, doesn't it? It changes it to almost like that sepia toned rather than the blue. And I know a lot of people sort of tone their cyanotypes in tea or coffee, and depending on what tea you use, you get different, you can get a nice kind of like really dark image. So it's nice to change it up, I think. So yeah.
If you follow Christina Anderson, she has an Instagram site. She's putting a lot of toning. Christina Anderson, and who has 1 million books of the alternative printing.
Yeah, she's crazy. She's crazy in doing books of everything.
Okay.
She's amazing.
Is that Christina with a C or a K?
With a C. Christina Zeta Anderson. You're going to find because she has books of everything, all the techniques. I think I have sent her an email to come to the festival and she didn't answer. But that's normal,
busy lady.
She's busy.
I'm just getting used to not answer emails,
Not anymore. You're famous.
No, I'm not famous. I'm not famous, and people is not answering our emails. I hate that. But anyway, Husara, I just have one question about the glass. How do you do to attach it on the glass? ¿Cómo hace para que se quede en el vidrio y no se vaya?
Yo uso una gelatina.
Okay.
Gelatina. Sí. Dos tipos de
Two kind of gelatin to mix with the cyanotype.
Tiene la común, que es comestible, sin gusto, sin nadie, ¿sí?
Yes.
Que puede, yo utilizo cambiando con la emoción, ¿sí?
Yes, you can mix the normal gelatin that you are using for doing this for the kids. You can use that one.
Caliente.
La
gelatina caliente, sí. Yo pongo la emoción. Hay una cantidad.
Proporción, yes.
Sí, una proporción. Y después, sí, hay. Tiene que limpiar bien.
You have to clean it well.
Sí, limpiar bien. No puede tener ninguna gordura, ¿sí?
Yes.
Después coloco, dejamos, ¿sí? pongo la emulsión con la gelatina, ¿sí? Y tengo que dejar a secar.
Okay.
Secar con la sombra, para después poner en el suelo, no sol.
Is that permanent then? Does that stay on permanently, or can you wipe it after? Yeah.
Sí. Esto es un experimento apenas ahora, sí, mas
no, but it's good. You have to keep working with that.
Permanente. Y hay dos maneras de hacer. La otra gelatina es la industrializada química, pero no recuerdo el nombre ahora, pero es que se compra en las farmacias, en las químicas, ¿sí? Es una gelatina específica que se hace una camada. Sí.
Okay.
Que aí se passa a primeira camada, seca, e depois a segunda.
Uses the first layer and then you dry it and uses the another layer.
E a segunda é com a emulsão, gelatina mais emulsão.
And the second layer is used by, como é que é a emulsão, hein?
Gelatina more emulsion.
Using emulsion. Não é imersão?
Não, é emulsão fotográfica. La emulsión fotográfica más la gelatina es la segunda etapa. La primera es gelatina. The first gelatina. Después, after gelatin for emulsion. La emulsion.
Okay.
So you mixing gelatin with cyanotype, right? Second part is mixed gelatin and cyanotype. It makes sense. Yes.
Yes.
Do you send the glass? Do you send the glass, a matte glass or regular glass?
Pego o vidro com
Eu derramo.
Just straight on.
Se eu derramo. I put the liquid sobre. On.
Running through. Running through.
Sim. Okay.
Yes.
Not pan.
No, eles entenderam.
Yes, we get it. Yes, and it's like two different groups, two different processes that you have like two layers.
Yes.
Different layers.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm really surprised. Gul know about this because every meeting that we are doing, I'm surprised with the things that you can learn from photography. You know, everyone is saying, no, you can just do a photography with your phone, and in the end, you just get crazy seeing how people can be doing things with gelatin for the kids, you know, and with candies and everything. Yeah. It's crazy.
That's an interesting one with gelatin. I think I'm going to try that one. And I was just going to ask very quickly, have you tried both? And which do you prefer? Do you prefer using the industrial gelatin or the one that you can use with kids? Is there a preference?
A primeira técnica. The first technique. A mistura.
She likes to use the first technique.
Okay.
Which is the food one.
The food one.
My simplest.
It's more simple.
Okay. I'm going to give that a go. I'm going to try it.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
also thank you, kid, for helping us. You are not a kid, I mean, but anyway, thank you for being there with your mom. I mean, it might not be the most happy thing to do in a Saturday evening, but thank you so much for helping us to contact with her, because we love her work. I mean, it's amazing. We have been learning a lot of things. Thank you so much. We are going now to the big group again. Okay, just be patient. I'm going to do an abstract of what we have been talking about, and then we are going to listen to everyone, and then we're just going to keep going. Okay, thank you so much for being here. We have learned a lot, and this is amazing. It's a pity, but this is the last meeting that we are doing before the festival, because we really need to concentrate all our energies. What happened, Wolf?
I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question. But we have a one section, that trig meeting. What is about that? Can you explain to us? Like a €30, you bring your project, you talk about 3 sessions.
Ah, yes, that's a workshop with me.
What is, do
you want to see me 3 weekends?
Can you mention before yes. Can you mention in the big group so we can sign up what it's about? I spoke with Thelma, and Thelma didn't understand. I'm kind of don't understand.
I don't think that you and Thelma must come to this workshop. I mean, it's something really for beginners, you know? I think you know much more about photography than myself. You know, I don't have anything to explain to you or to Thelma about photography. She's fucking teaching in the IPC, you know, in New York. I don't have nothing to explain to you. It's something much more prepared for young people that is starting, but we're going to be working about different concepts related with creating a project. You know, because young people is mainly working. I don't want to use the time of the big group. That's why I'm explaining to you, and then you can talk with Thelma. People is really used to work with Instagram, just showing pictures, and not thinking what the message is, you know, what's the project, what does it mean if you want to do a book, if you want to do an exhibition, you know, try to think about further beyond just the image, you know. We're going to be working with that, but at least from my point of view, it's really basic. I don't think that you are going to learn anything from me, at least, okay?
If I want to see you.
If you want to see me, you can come, you know. We can just come to Barcelona and we can have a great beer and have fun and dance a little bit. Yeah. But I don't think this workshop is going to be useful for you, at least from the photographical point of view. From another point of view, maybe it is. Okay, see you in the big group in 1 minute, okay?
Okay.
Oh, great.
Okay. Hope everyone is here. I think we have 50 people. I can see Melanie, Thelma, Will, I can see Eleonor, I can see Sandrine, and all of you there. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you had fun in the small group. We don't have a lot of time, but anyway, if you want to leave, if you have something better to do, you can just leave. We are going to put this video on YouTube probably next week. Just feel free to do whatever you want. If you don't have anything to do as myself, just feel free to stay here. We are going to take 15, 20 more minutes just to explain what we have been debating in all the groups. In my group, we have been talking about how can we mix cyanotype with other techniques. And Gul was explaining about the mixing of cyanolumen, and it was amazing. I mean, these are just ideas, okay? We're not going to develop all the debate, but you can think that cyanotype can also be mixed with cyanotype, lumen prints with cyanotype. You can mix it with GAN bichromatate also. And we have a debate if it was good to do cyanotype in the end or cyanotype at the beginning. We don't have a clear idea about what is the better, but you can try both with the same negatives and try to see which one is the best for you. And then we have some examples of silk print and cyanotype. We have been working also with some example of cyanotype and painting, because if you are doing cyanotype in glass, and if you're using gelatin to stick it on the glass, you can then put paint the background of the glass. You know, you can have the glass, the gelatin, the cyanotype, and then painting with some colors. And you can put the painting on the other side, and it can be an amazing mix between painter and cyanotype. And also we have been talking about the bath that you can use also for cyanotype, that normally we are using tea and coffee, but Carlos from Mexico was also saying that you can use it with Coca-Cola. And the result is crazy. It's really, really different from the kind of cyanotype that we are seeing every day. I mean, the result is different, and you can also try it at home. It's really cheap, it's really capitalist, and it's really amazing. Okay, something else to try with your bath. Arthur, you have a question?
No, I just wanted to say that here in Brazil, we learn how to do that with onion skin.
Okay.
Okay. And hibiscus tea to make, like, to turn and change the color of the cyanotype. It's really cool. Yes. And also I have made a lot of prints with Van Dyke and cyanotype, and it's very cool because it's a ongoing reaction. So the reaction never stops. So every time I take a look at the prints I made with both techniques, it's different.
Yes.
So like I did it 2 or 3 years ago, and all the times I looked for it, it was different. It keeps changing forever. It's really cool.
Okay, thank you so much, Arthur. Will, are you ready for explaining what was the debate in your group? We're just going to go fast with all the moderators and just have a great idea, a lot of ideas, just to go to sleep with our mind full of crazy ideas, you know?
So we were discussing about what we thought the future of cyanotype and anthotypes were, and kind of photography as a whole. We did, as I'm sure most people's groups, end up going slightly off topic and just discussing our own kind of processes and things. But generally our summary was that we don't think cyanotype is going anywhere anytime soon in terms of people stopping to do it. Advent of social media has been fantastic in kind of connect. Let's face it, we wouldn't be here talking to this many people about cyanotypes if social media wasn't a thing.
For sure.
Kind of everyone has now got a phone in their pocket, which they didn't have 10, 15, 20 years ago. But the type of things that people are photographing with their point and click cameras is very different from what people are kind of using to capture cyanotypes with. We were also discussing the fact that cyanotype, compared to lots of other analog photography methods, is relatively simple, and it's even more so anthotype. Cyanotype, you need the chemicals. Anthotype, you could literally go into your back garden and pick something up in most places, maybe not in all countries with this kind of levels of sun and UV, but it's such an accessible process that the more people that can be introduced to it, I think the better. So, and then we went really off topic discussing papers and other things. So,
okay, but you have fun?
Yes, definitely. It was when the message came up to say that we were being kicked back into the main room, we were midway through a conversation. So, if anyone in that room wants to carry on that conversation, I'm more than happy.
Thank you so much, Will. If you have Astrid or Flora, do you want to tell us what you have been debating?
Yes.
And if you have fun, obviously.
Hi, I'm happy to be able to talk because I was with people and I couldn't talk to them because my mic was not working, so I had to write everything on the chat.
Okay, so, sorry about that.
They were really nice. The question was, what's the relationship we have between the supports and the image we can create? And what's the power of it?
Okay.
And it appeared that it allows us to create more possibilities to change the materiality of the images. And bring some more personal choices as well, because we had vegans and maybe they don't want to use gelatin for cyanotype on glass, for example. So they had to try something else with agar agar, for example. And it's, yeah, maybe it's more personal when you work directly, manually on the support. And also it allows more surprises because you can, you always have the unknown, you know, and the surprise of matter that you can just control everything.
Okay, because it's not an industrial way of doing things. It's really with your hands. You know, you have to do it with your hand.
Yes.
Okay, nice. The debate was interesting. Did you have fun? I mean, they didn't hurt you,
Yes,
but it was fun.
They were really nice, and it was really interesting to see what they were doing.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Astrid, can you explain us your debate?
Yes, sure. So we were a multilingual group. And we had two questions, in fact. We had one about cyanotype and one about anthotype. The first one about cyanotype was what is so fascinating with this blue of cyanotype? So it was very interesting because what we thinking about it now, we thought that it's probably linked to nature. I mean, the blue of the sky, the blue of the ocean, the blue of the mountains. I mean, it's like color of eternity, and in some way, it's a very relaxing and nice color. So probably, and moreover, if we are like interesting into nature and using nature as an inspiration, it's really spiritual and linked to this blue. And regarding to go out of this blue, so we have the colors of anthotype, no? And the questions about this technique was about the ephemerality of the technique. And is it linked to a way to do a more, not to use a more natural way of creating pictures? And what the group was thinking is that in some way, the anthotype technique is very poetic because it's all about the process that you are following to create something. It's not really about what you create at the end. But in some way, it's always a bit frustrating also because maybe you create something great and you have to leave it in one book or in a dark room or whatever and just not touch it so that it doesn't change. So it's like a duality, but it's also a very nice technique that I think that most of us maybe knows very well cyanotype, maybe less anthotype. So everybody wanted to taste it.
Nice. It's the same with solarography, that you are also losing all the time because as you can't stop the process, they keep dying in some point or they keep changing. It's a really interesting concept and a good relationship with cyanotype with the technique about this. Thank you so much, Astrid, for the debate. Sandrine or Heather, can you explain what was your debate about?
Okay, hello. So the question we had was about the support we could use for cyanotype, like wood or glass.
Okay.
And how we would adapt the preparation, and the other about the archival quality of the cyanotype and anthotype. So the thing is, we are not speaking exactly the same language, which is the beauty of being in this festival. So we spend a lot of time, and at the end we end up chatting about what we're doing and we to pass from each one into Spanish or whatever. But what we found is and Sophie, they were working with paper, ceramic, and glass, color fabric, any kind of fabric, color paper. They learn, so I asked them how they learned the process because it's quite a niche area, and they say YouTube, they learn alone. And when we chat about the archival quality, first the anthotype is less well known. So we talk about some books we have and where we can find resources to learn about it,
like nice.
photography.com, you know, this kind of stuff.
If you can send it in the chat, it would be amazing for every one of us to know more about that.
Yeah, because the Anthotype was, I mean, Talia knew, but not Sophie, so I tell her where she can learn about the Anthotype. Okay. And then we had a discussion about, are we interested in the result? Do we want to preserve the image and the work, or we don't mind about if it's going to disappear? So one said that the experimentating aspect was the most important, whatever the result and however long it can stay is fine. And the other said she would still like to keep it if it's part of a project or a long series or for an exhibition, and then it can disappear. So depending on the project, if you want to put in a show, I don't know. So anyway, the all experimental side was the most important for everybody, and they were very happy to find some new resources. And I can share what I have. I think a lot of people know about it, but I can type them in the chat.
Sure. Type them. We have 10 more minutes. Just use them to send us a lot of information that can be amazing. Heather, can you tell us what you have been debating about?
Yeah, I'll paraphrase what we were talking about. So our question was, is it important to synthesize and connect the material and process that you're using with your subject or concept? And we had 6 people in our group, and we mostly agreed and talked about, we agreed that it is important to kind of synthesize, and we talked about the projects that we're working on. Catherine mentioned how she's using these materials because they feel very organic, and that was important to her because she's working with organic materials and it sort of meshes together. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right, but Aniko mentioned that she's working on a project about composting and using food waste to create it, currently working with lumen prints on silver gelatin, but is kind of transitioning to anthotypes because of the synthesis of the anthotype being made with organic materials and the composting and food waste. So that was really cool. One person said that maybe it's more important just to connect with the subject matter that you're making your artwork about, that maybe it doesn't actually matter. And we talked about giving new life with these older processes. And it came up in conversation, which it seems like Flora's group maybe talked about it, and Sandrine's group talked about this too, about how anthotypes are fleeting images. They are not permanent. So how can you use that idea, or what concepts could you connect with this idea of the fleeting image, something that's not staying? And then Erica talked about how she actually rips up her old cyanotypes if they were failures, rips them all up and makes new paper out of this her old artworks, and then coats it in cyanotype. And we kept talking about this like new life. And then Melanie, to end, we talked about how as experimental artists, no matter what process you're using, cyanotype or pinhole or anything, that it's kind of a performance art, and that the art of making it and the art of being an experimental photographer is just as important as the final product. And we talked about the importance of documenting your work as you go, and we mentioned Eva's work and Dawn's work that they showed today, this like photographing the work in progress. And then we talked about how embarrassing that can be, because sometimes your studio is like a mess. And we started sharing like messy studios and talking about just like how important it is to really document the process. We briefly talked about the materialization of photography, how the substrate you use is an object in itself, you know, since we're in a digital world. So we kind of talked about a lot of things. We had a good conversation.
Yes, I can see that you have used your time in the best way you can use it.
Yeah.
Nice. You have been talking a lot of things in 20 minutes. Imagine what you can talk in 5 days of festival, you know? You're going to get crazy.
We'll find out.
We're going to have a lot of time for having beers and also this kind of amazing conversation. Thank you so much, Heather. Do we have Juliana here or Eleanor to explain what you have been debating? What was your question?
Yes.
Hi.
Okay, hi everybody. Hello. Okay, the main question was, do you consider cyanotype as a photography or a painting mixed media? it must be considered just a printing technique or it's something else. So we discussed a lot about this, and the main thing was that starting from the fact that it is a photographic process, the real use that one wants to give depends on the use that each artist wants to make of it. And also it's important considering the low cost of emulsion, and also the easy of making the first, making a cyanotype. We can do many tests and therefore have a million of possibilities. Explore, get excited compared to other techniques that are much more expensive. So, and yeah, we discuss more and more about this, but I think we have not much time. So that's the main thing.
Okay, you didn't debate.
And sorry for because Paolo. Sorry, no, Paolo was we didn't finish to talk, so maybe another time.
Okay, there are going to be other moments. Don't worry. This is just the beginning of a conversation. Okay, we are just putting everyone together to know each other. But this is a debate, you know, that we can see every day on our social networks. That people is just getting together and you keep debating. This is great. Also, we are always saying this because people is just leaving. We are coming with you, Eleanor, for 1 minute. If you want to share cyanotypes in your stories from Instagram, it would be amazing. Someone else that you met today, if you don't have to tag the festival or anything. Just if we can put more cyanotypes on Instagram every day, it would be amazing for this community to get bigger. You know, just have it like something to do every day, just to share works of others and to know more what we are doing, just to keep to another level of experimentation. Eleanor, can you told us what you have been debating in your group?
Yeah, and so the kind of question was about photograms versus contact prints, and kind of pros and cons of each, and what people might have enjoyed making. And we were kind of talking quite a bit about the various things that we've made. There was a conversation about pinhole cameras, because one of the people does pinhole photography, and about how you can't make a pinhole cyanotype, unfortunately, about printing plants, so botanical prints, and kind of needing to do long exposures, really long exposures in order to pick up the detail of the veins because of the ultraviolet light needing to come through the green leaves, and so exposures quite a few hours long, and that if you do that under glass, then you can have condensation, and then that turns it into a wet cyanotype, which means you get different colors, and we weren't quite sure of the chemistry of why you get different colors in wet cyanotype. In printing negs, so in making photographic prints, actually the difficulties in getting a solid enough black on the negatives in order to prevent the light coming through, and so the importance of getting that negative right. Making prints indoors, that we didn't always have to work outdoors, and if you can work indoors, then you're protected from the rain and the wind, which is really useful. And then something that actually came from my own practice, but the relationship between shadows as captured by the cyanotype process and forms of architectural drawing projection. And yeah, that was a very quick summary of some of the things we spoke about.
Thank you so much, Eleanor. Also, you have been doing really useful your time of the debate. I'm surprised that there are some groups that they were just, as us, we were just worried a lot about the language. And when you don't have this problem of the language, you can talk about a lot of different things. But anyway, we just get in touch, we just get contact with different people. And this is the most amazing thing of this. As I said, this is just the beginning of the conversation, that we are sure that it's going to be longer and longer and longer. Now we are talking about techniques. This year we have been doing workshop, and also every month a different technique to be able to put all of you together. But we are going to start thinking in the festival about how we can mix techniques. Okay, this is going to be the debate during the festival. We have different things prepared for this year festival that you are going to enjoy a lot if you're coming. We have the last the last moderator, that is our co-director, Laura. Laura, are you there? Are you alive? Can you tell us what you have been debating on?
Of course, I'm always here. We ended up talking about if in Paris how much is raining and there is no sunshine, but the group was really lovely. Our question was, do you feel it's important to learn about cyanotype and anthotype as part of photography courses in art schools?
Okay.
And the answer was yes, it's mandatory, of course. And well, in the group, actually, all the people had studied photography, and they all said that this part of photography experimental things are completely missing, and that especially for kids, for adults only, but especially for kids, it's a technique that is like a magical process. It's a word from Almudena that said that it's something that is not toxic, and it's easy, and also, as Will was said before, it's a technique that is accessible and it's easy to make. So yes. we need more experiments in school, and actually now there is not so much, unfortunately.
Okay, we are surprised because you have in your back, it says, "Congratulations, Belgium."
Yeah? I don't really see it.
Congratulations, Belgium. I don't know if it was from the World Cup of football or something like this, you know.
Probably, I don't know. My mom's place is a bed and breakfast, and people leave messages over there. It's pretty funny.
Nice, Laura. Thank you so much, and also
Thanks to you. Thank you, everyone
for being here. We have been 82 in some point. We are 42, but it's normal. We have been here for 2 hours and 15 minutes. This is crazy. We have had a lot of fun. We have learned a lot. And also, if you think that someone wants to be is interested in cyanotype, we have this workshop with Virginia that we have already done, but we are selling the video for just 10 euros. You can have this video and to learn how she's working. She's adorable. She's amazing. And hopefully she's going to be during the festival also in Barcelona. If you want to learn more, just go to our webpage, see all the 9 selected, or follow the 10 selected that we have been showing today, and just share more things, get in contact, just write them. If you have a question, just write. How do you do this? And this is starting a conversation, you know. This is the way that we have created this festival, just with the idea of sharing things. We are really alone. We are experimenters, and we are not in the bigger festivals in the world, you know. We don't have a place. We have created this place. This place is called X21. This year is going to be in Barcelona. If you can come, we can understand, because there is not just a sanitarian crisis, but this is also economical crisis, and the situation is not easy to travel. Make an effort to come. If you can come, we are going to find a solution also for doing some online things for everyone to be with us also during that days. And thank you so much for being here. That's the only thing that we can say. Thank you so much. Thank you to the team, to Laura and Astrid. They are working every day with this. Hope to see you soon, happily in the next activity, okay? Thank you so much to everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Laura, did you make a picture for our Instagram or don't?
It's already online.
Oh, amazing.
I did it at the beginning.
This is a great team. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Have fun
Bye.
and enjoy your weekend. Bye.
Bye-bye.